Okay, I've been really hesitant on whether or not to make this video because generally I like to try to be positive and not talk about things that I DNF or don't care for. But really, the reason that I wanted to bring this up is I've been trying to read Swallows by Natsuo Kirino and translated by Lisa Hoffman Kuroda. I'm guessing Kuroda. And I was thinking already, I very rarely DNF books. As a kid, I would start a lot of games and then not finish them. I'd start a lot of books and not finish them. I started many things and wouldn't finish them. And then at a certain point, I matured enough to start finishing things, and I discovered the joy of finishing things and the importance, particularly as an aspiring writer, of finishing what you start. So personally, I have a very deep-seated interest in finishing things. But Swallows, I am going to DNF, and I don't want this to be a condemnation of the book so much as why a certain style of writing doesn't work for me, and that's the whole concept of show versus tell. And I'm going to share with you, and it'll probably be on the screen now, the exact line that made me say, nope, I'm done. Because I was getting vibes throughout the whole book, but it was the part, there was no way that the confident Motoi, pampered since birth, would understand someone like Yuko's brother, nor did he have any desire to. That sentence, to me, is telling me exactly how to feel, and I hate it when books do that. The scene that it's describing earlier is Motoi and his mother, Chimiko, talking about how if Motoi dies and Chimiko dies, then Chimiko's wealth inheritance would go to his wife without an heir or a scion, and then if his wife dies, then that money would go into his wife's family, since he's an only child, and consequently, one of the members of the wife's family, in this case, Yuko's brother, is a hikikomori, and she does not want that type of person to get her money, which is apparently quite sizable. So, in that sense, like, the setup already, I think most people listening to it can see how, like, most people will have taken sides. I sort of sympathize with not wanting your money to go to a certain place or a certain kind of person, even though, her hatred of his wife is a little bit unfounded. But at the same time, he ended up divorcing his previous wife, which she played matchmaker for, in order to marry this new woman. So Chimiko's not a great person in the way that this comes across, but I can also understand how she feels slighted. And this is the thing about literature where I like this dynamic. I like being able to make up my own mind about the characters and their actions. And it's the type of thing where I think they're being selfish, but I can understand where their selfishness comes from, where this thought process comes from. But then this line comes in and just tells me exactly how I should feel. Confident Motoi, pampered since birth, would understand someone like Yuko's brother. And I'm just instantly, because it puts instantly Motoi as the person in the wrong, who couldn't understand the brother, and how the brother is clearly meant to be the more sympathetic version in this tale. It's telling me exactly how to think, and I don't appreciate that. I want to be left to my own devices and to make up my own mind what to think and how to feel. And I already was having issues with this book in terms of it feeling very disconnected from its characters, very much telling the story rather than letting it unfold. And this line, this is just the embodiment of not letting me make up my own mind, which is a pity because it takes what could be a more nuanced situation and actually sucks all the nuance out of it by really limiting it and telling us to view it in only one way. And this is the line for me. It's like on page 40 something, 41, 47, I don't know, where I'm just like, I'm out. I already was not feeling the writing style, and this line in particular is just frustrating me and telling me how to feel, and I can already tell that's not going to vibe for me. And like I said from the start, it's not about saying Swallows is a bad book. Some people like their books to be more blunt, but I personally enjoy trying to figure out how I feel about a book, because it makes the revelations and the conclusions that I come to feel all the more insightful. I mean, if one of the things about fiction is that it can help us to understand positions that we might not ordinarily agree with, then part of the way of doing that is to show it in an empathetic light, but to let people arrive at that conclusion themselves, because all this has done is tell me how to feel. And when you tell me how I should feel, I'm going to reject it out of hand, because that's not anybody else's right to tell me how I should feel about something. That's solely my decision to make. And that's I just wanted to share it as something that in writing I talk about sometimes. I talk about Nosgard having characters that you like but can still empathize with because they have these other aspects to them. And I've mentioned that in my last review, South of the Border, West of the Sun, really the nuances of the characters. And it's why I didn't want to call Hajime from South of the Border, West of the Sun a bad person, because I think that there's more nuance to that. I think there's more complexity to it than that. And the fact that Murakami and Nosgard allow their characters to have both these pros and cons, and their language doesn't subconsciously, or in this case, just very overtly tell you how you should feel about these characters. Both writers just let their characters be, as opposed to this, which is, I've said it many times, just outright telling you who's good, who's bad, and where they should be on the alignment. And that's all I'm going to say on Swallows. I'm disappointed because I remember reading Out a while ago, a long, long time ago, and really enjoying it and its insights. But who knows, maybe, and Grotesque as well by Kirino, even though the Western version was horribly botched at the ending. But now I'm wondering if the other works are as abrupt or blunt as this, and I just didn't notice it at the time. And I've just come to, over time, appreciate it. Because like I said, not only does it develop your empathy more, but I started to say, when you have to work for something, when you have to try to understand somebody or try to appreciate a point of view, it makes the conclusions that you arrive at all the more important, because they feel in a way like your own. Like the author wrote something and then you reached out to the story, and you reached out to the story rather than the story. Every story reaches out to you a certain degree, but the more that you have to kind of meet the story halfway to understand it, the more you feel like you invest yourself into the story, then the more you're going to get out of it. Whereas with this, there's no self-investment necessary. Kirino is just stating very flatly what you should feel and when. And that's it. I'm going to close it off here. I'm kind of rambling. I feel like I'm just repeating myself. And this was already meant to be a short video, and it's gone on for like 8 minutes. So, bye-bye.